Okay, sit yourself onto your left. Just come into a good cross-legged position so that you're feeling evenly spaced on the seat bones. Hold onto your knees and lift up into the chest. Elevate the heart area upwards and draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Just look down at the floor at something that doesn't move. Spend a moment to assess how you're feeling physically. How easy the breath feels. So how easy the breath feels at the lungs, but also at the nostrils. Aim to fill the lungs from the bottom to the top and empty them from the top to the bottom. Listen to the sound of the inhalation and the sound of the exhalation. Bring your hands into Namaste. Hold on to the palms. Press the palms firmly together. Lengthen from your armpits into your elbows. Elbows into the heels of the hands. Heels of the hands up into the fingertips. And allow your eyes to gently close. Consciously fill the lungs from the bottom to the top and empty them from the top to the bottom. Allow the chest to expand upwards and outwards, including into the armpit chest and the back chest. Non-resistant inhalations allow the body to absorb more energy. So first thing in the morning, that is a boon for our energy. So consciously allow the chest to expand with the in-breath and to lower with the out-breath. With an exhalation, bring your chin down to meet the chest. Spend a moment to seek to generate a genuine, heartfelt sense of gratitude for something or someone or somewhere. Spend a moment to seek to generate a genuine, heartfelt sense of gratitude for something or someone or somewhere. Hold on to that feeling of abundance and bring your hands down to your knees, palms facing upwards. Connecting the tip of the index finger together with the thumb, a gesture of wisdom, physical intelligence and peacefulness that we can carry into our practice as an intention. And then raise your head. Allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Hold on to your knees. Elevate the heart area up to the ceiling, drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Take a deep inhalation and then turn to the right side, drawing the abdomen across. The abdomen and the ribs and the shoulders. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Using the out breath to intensify the turn. And then come back to the centre. Hold onto your knees. Lift up into your chest. Take a deep inhalation in through the nose. And then turn to the left. Drawing your abdomen across and your ribs and your shoulders. Breathing in through the nose, using the out breath to just gently intensify the turn. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And then very gently come back to the centre. With your lift, sit back on your heels and into the preparation for Adho Mukha Virasana. So just have the big toes together and the knees apart. Just come forwards a little so that the backs of the knees feel like they open. And then get the thumb into the back of the knee, into the top of the calf, and draw the top of the calf away from the knee. Draw the backs of the calves away from the knees and then roll them out to the side as you sit yourself down. Just feel that you can wriggle into the inner heels. So you bring the outer buttocks into the inner heels. Just make sure that you're feeling like you're in a good kind of straight line right down the centre of your mat, like it's a little runway. Push the shins consciously into the floor. Press the shin bone into the shin skin so that the shins make really good contact with the mat and the thighs activate. When the thighs activate, then you can elevate up much more deeply up into the chest. So lift the chest up to the ceiling. And then keeping the seat bones down on the heels if you possibly can. Come forwards. Keep lengthening forwards, but keep hitting back into the heels. Keep the head lifted as you come down until the very last minute. Aim to keep the seat bones down on the heels. Listen to the breath. Listen to the inhalation and the exhalation. Feeling that the breath is different in Adho Mukha Virasana. There's maybe a little bit more constriction on the abdomen. So the in-breath maybe feels a little more restricted. Just acknowledge that. Work to keep the seat bones down on the heels. Put a block
or a folded blanket between the seat bones and the heels if there's no connection. So you've got to hip back in order to extend. So keep, even if it's just a gentle touch, keep the seat bones on the heels. So that's an example of feeling rather than seeing. So keep that connection through the feel of the pose rather than looking outwards, looking inwards even. Well, both. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders and push yourself up into a seated position. Just for a moment, just lift, sit back on your heels. Just observe how it feels after stretching out. How does it feel in the shoulders, in the spine? Have you opened up your energy a little? And then come up onto all fours, have your hands as wide apart as the mat, little fingers on the edge of the mat, stretch the thumbs as deeply towards each other as you can. Press in the air from underneath the palms away. Turn your toes under and then push the palms into the floor and elevate the seat bones up towards the ceiling. Tighten the kneecaps. Draw the fronts of the knees through to the backs of the knees. Listen to the breath. Push the fronts of the knees through to the backs of the knees and turn the fronts of the thighs inwards. Lift the seat bones up towards the ceiling. Activate the thigh muscles, the fronts of the thighs. Push the fronts of the thighs up towards the top of the leg and then push the fronts of the thighs through to the backs of the thighs. All the time keeping the breath soft and deep. Listen to the breath. If you're having a conversation, would your voice be gentle or would it be tense like this? Aim for gentleness in approach, but intensity in approach at the same time. Allow the body to wake up through the feeling of intensity. Step your feet forward, come up into a standing position. Have your feet as wide apart as your mat. Have a couple of blocks for your hands. So feel that your heels are on the edge of the mat. Feel that see that the heels, that the toes are in line with each other, and feel that the heels are on the edge of the mat. Feel that the little toes are on the edge of the mat. So if you look down, your big toes should be fairly significantly closer together than your heels. Have your hands on your hips, lift up into the chest, tighten the kneecaps, consciously turn the fronts of the thighs inwards. Hands on the hips, lift up into the chest, and then keep the chest lifted, keep the head lifted as you hinge at the hips. And then reach down and find the blocks beyond the fingertips of the blocks. Just have a quick look down at your feet, make sure that the big toes are turning in. Tighten the kneecaps, press the fronts of the thighs up towards the top of the leg, push the fronts of the thighs through to the backs of the thighs. Feel that your weight can shift into the heels. Hit the legs back until your weight shifts into your heels. Lift the seat bones away from the heels. Project the chin and the chest forwards. Just feel how this pose feels for you this morning. We do this pose every day, but sometimes it will feel different. Everything feels a bit weird for me this morning. Feels a bit unnatural. So that's just an observation. That doesn't mean we don't do the pose. It just means that I have to consciously draw my attention into the physical body to find balance of action, balance of intention. If you can go down lower, then do. But if you've got a bad back, often better to stay on the higher lift. As you come down, observe how the pose shifts. Aim to see the body in 3 dimensions. Try to make the left side evenly active with the right, and vice versa. Observe which side is your most enthusiastic side, which is your most reluctant. As you come down, if you reach down to the floor, observe what's happened with the feet as your weight hit forwards into the toes or into the sides of the feet. So continue to bring the legs back so that your weight drives down into the heels. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. And then bring your hands into your hips, bend your knees on the way up if you need to, and then come up into standing. Be in Tadasana, have the inner edge of the feet together. Have the inner edge of the feet together, lift up into the chest. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Listening to the breath. Turn the fronts of the thighs inwards, tuck the tailbone in. Lift the abdomen up towards the diaphragm. Diaphragm up towards the collarbone. Turn the palms all the way out so that you start to rotate the upper arms in the sockets. So that you broaden the collarbone. Hit your weight back into your heels. Turn the fronts of the legs inwards, tuck the tailbone in. Draw the belly button towards the spine, lift the abdomen up to the diaphragm, to the collarbone. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Bring your arms out nice and wide, in toward your chest, step or jump, your feet nice and wide for trikonasana. Turn your left toes in, your right leg and foot all the way out. Observe how this makes you want to do that. It makes you want to turn towards that front leg, but resist that action. So if we do Tadasana legs at this stage, then if we turn the legs inwards, then it does make us do this. And if we're going that way, then we definitely want that to happen. But for we're going to go sideways, so we need to turn the legs in the opposite direction, especially the front leg. Work with focus on that front leg, on the right leg, and turn the inner thigh out right up into the hip socket. So get hold of the thigh and physically turn it. Just helps you to get that sensation of turning the legs. And then do the same with that back leg, but keep the focus on the front leg. Bring the chest to face the front, and then reach over, find the shin, look up. So just feel how your body responds to the pose this morning. My hamstrings feel really tight this morning. So observe for yourself what is happening in the pose. Turn the abdomen and the chest up to the ceiling. Breathe in and out through the nose, observing how it starts to clear out the sinuses. If there's resistance in one leg, so for example, I'm feeling resistance in the hamstring, so activate the hamstrings of the other leg. Suck them towards the outer thigh. So even out that sensation of pressure. And observe how the resistance changes. It might not go all together, but it might just feel different. It might feel a little easier. Come up to the centre. Swap the feet around, turn the right toes in, and again the left leg and foot all the way out. So notice as I'm turning this leg, sometimes it's good to just bend the knee, just to get that sense that you can really turn the leg up into the hip socket. But then we straighten the leg. Just make sure that that heel lines up with the instep of the back leg. And then turn that front leg from the big toe side to the little toe side, just like you did on the other side. Do the same with the back leg. And then reach down, find the shin. Come into the pose slowly, so that you give yourself the opportunity to feel it. Again, feel resistance. If there is any, probably is. It's Monday morning after all. So just feel where there is resistance and activate the mirror image on the other leg. Or if it's not in the legs, just identify where it is and activate the mirror image. Turn the abdomen and the chest to the ceiling. Breathe in and out through the nose. From here we're going to come down into dog down. If you don't go into dog down, just come out of the pose normally like this, step or jump the feet back together. Otherwise, bring that top hand down. You can bend the front leg to reach the floor, bring the top hand to the big toe side, the other hand to the little toe side, and then step yourself back into trikonasana. Just feel, not into trikonasana, into dog down. Just feel how your dog down feels different this time. Maybe where there was resistance in trikonasana, it feels like freedom here. So just observe how the pose feels. So dog down is really beneficial. It's really beneficial to the liver. So quiet and in action. It's really beneficial for the legs, for the spine, for the shoulders. So breathe softly, gently breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. So if you don't do dog down, you can do Adho Mukha Virasana. Come down on your knees, sitting back on your heels and stretching forwards. And then we're going to jump our feet forward. So bend your knees. You might want to just step forwards. Jump your feet forwards. Come into uttanasana. Bring your hands onto your hips. Bend your knees if you need to on the way up. And then come up into tadasana. Be in tadasana. Observe how your body feels different.
Observe where there is energy. Tighten the kneecaps, turn the fronts of the thighs inwards, tuck the tailbone in. So when we tuck the tailbone in, lengthen the tailbone away from the sacrum. So you've got this, the tailbone, the sacrum, and then the lumbar. So draw the sacrum away from the lumbar, and then tuck the tailbone in, all without pushing your legs forwards. So you tighten the kneecaps, you turn the fronts of the thighs in, hit the fronts of the thighs through to the backs of the thighs, and then turn the tailbone in. Lift up into the chest. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Turn the palms all the way out. Just listening to the sound of the inhalation and the sound of the exhalation. Bring your arms out nice and wide. In towards your chest, and then step or jump, go as wide as you can with your legs for prasarita, padottanasana. Bring the back of the heel in line with the edge of the mat so that you've got something that kind of just gives you a guide of where your feet are. Go nice and wide as you can. And then turn your toes in. Turn your toes in, have your hands on your hips, and then straighten your legs, lift up into the chest. Keep the legs really firm, turning inwards this time. So not trikonasana outwards, turn the legs inwards. Lift up into the chest, and then keep the head lift, keep the chest lifted as you hinge at the hips and reach down. If you need to, you can use blocks underneath your hands, or you can reach down to the floor. Whichever you do, be on fingertips. So push the fronts of the thighs towards the backs of the thighs. Activate the thigh muscle. Make sure that the thigh muscle is lifting all the way up to the hip socket. The kneecaps are tightened. Lift the seat bones away from the backs of the heels and project the chin and the chest forwards. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. At this stage, if you can go any wider, actually, Cat, don't go wider, that looks wide enough. But if you can go any wider, Ian, you look quite wide as well, actually. In fact, everyone looks quite wide. Don't go any wider. But if you're not very wide, then you can go wider. Project the chin and the chest forwards. Now, we're not going to go down into the stage where you bring the head to the floor. But we're just going to stay at this stage, just hitting the fronts of the thighs forwards, lifting up into the chest, softening the jaw. And then I want you to turn the left toes in slightly, turn the right leg and foot all the way out, and then walk your hands over towards that right leg, even if you bend that right leg to reach there. Bring the right hand onto the shin, bring the left hand onto the hip, and then broaden the chest. Point the chest up to face the ceiling, get the legs straight, and then reach up for trikonasana. Observe how your trikonasana feels this time. It's probably wider than last time, hopefully. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Just read the pose from the inside. Feel where there is resistance. Where there's freedom, dividing your attention between the two. Working that mirror image technique to even out any tension. Bring the top hand down, bend that knee if you need to, and then walk yourself around to the centre, back to prasarita, padottanasana. Once there, straighten the legs again, project the chin and the chest forwards, lift the seat bones away from the backs of the thighs. Turn the right toes in slightly, walk yourself over to that left side, even if you bend the knee initially, and then bring the left hand onto the shin, bring the right hand onto the hip, and then turn the chest up to face the ceiling. Activate the legs all the way up into the hips and reach up.
Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. And then maybe bend that leg, walk the hands back down to the floor, and then walk yourself back into prasarita padottanasana. Project the chin and the chest forwards. Lift the seat bones away from the backs of the thighs. Work to straighten those legs. Remain on the fingertips. Turn the toes in a little. Okay, bring the palms of the hands down and then bend your knees slightly and then step or jump your feet back together and then come back up into Tadasana. Have the feet in Tadasana and then raise your arms in urdhva hastasana. I just have to go sideways to maximise my ceiling height. Raise your arms up. Feel that there is a different energy in the body than when you started. And then gently release. Just come down onto your knees. Just sit back on your heels for a moment. Again, just observing your energy. Just observing how your energy has changed. So away from the context of the pose that was fairly challenging, just observe now how there's that feeling of internal lightness that we achieve when we stretch out the physical body. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. And observe whether the energy feels even on both sides, or is it on one side more than the other. So use your breath to distribute it more evenly. Up onto all fours, have your hands shoulder width apart, really spread the palms. Step back a little, turn your toes under, and then come up into dog down and a svanasana. Observe how the pose feels different again. Look inwards at the physical action of the pose and even it out. Distribute your focus evenly. Distribute the conscious action evenly. So if you identify that you're working more firmly on the left side than on the right side, then make the right side catch up. If you're working more willingly in the legs than in the arms, then divide your action evenly. Just don't overwork in one area and underwork in another. Find your internal balance of action. And then come down onto your knees, sit back on your heels. Just breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, observing your energy.
Listening to the sound of the in-breath, the sound of the out-breath. Sit back on your heels and then stretch forwards again in Adho Mukha Virasana. Feeling that this is a forward bend rather than a forward collapse. So bend at the hips, keep the seat bones down on the heels. Observe if that action is any easier now than it was at the beginning. The action of hitting the heels back, seat bones back on the heels. Listen to the breath. Okay, bring your hands underneath your shoulders, push yourself up and sit back on your heels, lift up into your chest, observing your energy. Observing the energy you have released in the upper body and the lower body. So it's been quite leg intensive, but in Adho Mukha Virasana, especially in dog down especially, the upper body is often really encouraged to activate. So feel how your energy rises up into the chest, into the arms, into the neck, into the head. And then come into cross legs. Just sit yourself either directly on the floor or sit on a lift if you know that you can't lift in cross legs on the floor. So if you sink in the chest like this and you can't roll forwards onto the front edge of the seat bones, then sit on a lift. Hold onto your knees. Drive the abdomen up away from the hips, up towards the collarbone. Draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Just breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Lift up into the chest and then turn to the right side, drawing your abdomen across. Your abdomen and your ribs and your shoulders. Digging the back hand into the floor. Rolling onto the front edge of the seat bones, feeling that the seat bones are level. Come back to the centre. Hold on to your knees, lift up into your chest and then turn to the right. And then come back to the centre. Grab yourself a couple of blocks and have them at the sides of the hips for sukhasana. Hold on to your knees, lift up into your chest. Just feel at this stage how your seat bones feel level. And if they don't, then adjust the buttock flesh. Just draw the buttock flesh out to the side so that you sit a little more directly on the seat bones, so that the levelness is there. And then reach underneath your right knee with the right hand and bring the elbow down onto the block. Make sure that that elbow is directly underneath the shoulder, so you don't want it any closer to the body or further away than the shoulder. Now at this stage, inevitably you're going to roll off this left seat bone and onto the right seat bone. So I want you to push from the shoulder into the elbow
and then push the elbow kind of into the block really deeply so that it creates like ballast, and then lengthen across into that left seat bone. So have your left hand on your hip and try and bring that left seat bone down onto the floor as evenly as it was when you were sitting in cross legs. Push that. That only happens from pushing that right elbow into the floor, into the block really deeply. Bring your chest up to face the ceiling, look up. And then keeping that left seat bone down as firmly as you can, using that right elbow as the kind of post. Reach up and over. Keep that left side down as firmly as you possibly can. Look up. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Hold on to that knee and push the right elbow into the floor and lengthen the left buttock bone away from that right elbow. Feel that intense stretch along the left side of the body. And then come back to the centre. Just hold onto your knees, just feel the balance of action. Maybe there's a lot of energy in the left side of the body, so we'll level that out. Reach down underneath the left knee, bring the left elbow onto the block. Make sure that it's directly underneath your shoulder. Push that elbow into the block and then stretch across into that right seat bone. Have the right hand on the hip. Turn the chest and the abdomen and the head to look upwards. Keep that right seat bone firmly down and then reach that top elbow over. Keep the arms straight. Press the elbow firmly into the block, lengthening across into that right side. Look up underneath the armpit. You get the same sinus clarity as you do in trikonasana. Keep pressing that left elbow into the block, lengthening the right seat bone away from the left seat bone so that the seat bones feel level. And then gently come back to the centre. Hold onto your knees. Lift up into the chest. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Feeling your energy level out in the seat bones and in the hips. Adjusting if necessary. And then one more time, turn to the right side, drawing your abdomen across, your ribs across, your shoulders across. And come back to the centre. Lift up into the chest and then turn to the left. Drawing your abdomen across, your ribs and your shoulders. And then gently come back to the centre. Come down onto your back. And then pull your knees in towards your chest. Have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom. Just a gentle massage on the spine. And then take hold of the sides of the mat around the edges, around the sides of the hips. Hold onto the mat really firmly and then stretch the legs up to the ceiling. For viparita karanhi, just a gentle supported inversion. So hold on to the edges of the mat like you want to tear it apart. Straighten your arms and turn the crease of the elbows out to the sides of the room so that you broaden the collarbone. Let the breath be soft and gentle. So all our poses should have exertion, but never over-exertion. So you should be able to have a conversation at normal level, and it shouldn't affect your voice. If you're overworking and you're talking like this, then you need to soften your approach. Doesn't necessarily mean you just become a big blob of jelly, but we learn to extend with focus and intention, but never overexertion. Overexertion leads to injury, leads to exhaustion. Finding the right level of exertion allows us to free our energy. So if we underexert, well, then we don't get anything from it at all. If we overexert, we overdo it. So we have to find that balance, effortless effort. Bend your knees. Bring your feet back down onto the floor. Walk yourself up into a seated position and then just get a folded blanket from underneath your head. Just cover your legs and your feet if you feel like they might be cold, or put a pair of socks on just for the last minute or two. And then just guide yourself down in a really good straight line right down the centre of your mat. Have the folded blanket underneath the back of your neck and your head. Move any equipment out of the way that's impacting your relaxation. Allow yourself to just completely release into the floor. Focus on long, slow, deep, deliberate inhalations and exhalations. Energy of the physical body to radiate from the bones into the muscles. Just feel that lightness radiating from the bones and into the muscles, radiating into the organs. Radiating from the organs and into the flesh and the skin. to disturb yourself, wriggle your toes, wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers. Bring yourself back into this pose of shavasana, just a gentle resurgence back into the body, and then bend your knees, bring your knees in towards your chest, just have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom. And then gently roll over onto your right side. Just stay down for a breath or two. And then straighten out the top leg, come back up into a seated position. Just a final cross legs with your hands in the masti. A final spinal lift. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Bring the breath down into the abdomen. Be conscious of the energy that you have released through our practice this morning. A good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy that the extensions and the forward bends and the twists and the inversions bring to the body and to the mind. And then draw your chin forwards and down to make contact with the chest. Be conscious of the energy that you have released through your practice this morning. A good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy. Observe the energy around the heart area, and then send some of that positive energy out into the world. And then gently release the backs of your hands down toward your knees. Palms facing upwards, bring the tip of the index finger together with the tip of the thumb. A gesture of wisdom, physical intelligence and peacefulness that we can carry with us into our day. And then raise your head. Allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. Thank you. So hopefully you feel as though you have really lifted your energy. Some quite tough things to do there today, but some good energy that comes out of it, hopefully. So thank you very much for joining me.